Hi, welcome to Camp Amicon. My name's Hannah. I'm one of the directors here at the camp. I'm talking today about how to pack for one of our wilderness adventure trips. And this is one of the things that we get a lot of questions about from people, especially if you've never been camping before, which is totally fine, or if you've never done canoe camping or like this level, like a whole week in a canoe at a campsite. It's going to be a lot of fun. But just a lot of questions about what exactly should I bring and how do I do this? You're going to be fine. It's going to be great. So when you register, you will get an email that has a document that kind of looks like this. This is kind of what the trip is like, what to expect, and then in here is a very detailed packing list. So definitely read this before you come to camp. This is going to be helpful information. And I'm excited just to kind of go through this generally so you get a sense of what to bring. But one of the first questions we get is like how to bring things to camp at all. Amicon is going to provide all the gear for you for your trip. So we're providing loose packs and stuff sacks and plastic liners and everything. And if you don't know what those are, that's fine. You don't need to. You'll find out when you get here. You can bring your clothes and your toiletries and everything in whatever kind of bag or suitcase or box you have and want to bring them in, and that's fine. And then we'll repack them into a way that's going to fit really beautifully into the canoe and just be easy to carry around a campsite and stuff like that. So first off, just some general packing guidelines, just for things to keep in mind for everything that you're bringing for the whole week. So first and foremost, generally we try to avoid cotton. When it gets wet, and keep in mind you're going to be canoeing, it does a really good job at cooling you down, and then it takes a really long time for cotton fabric to dry. I know it's going to be summer when you're coming on this camping trip, but being cold in the wilderness actually is kind of a big safety risk. It's actually a lot easier to get hypothermia than you'd think it would be. So we like to pick fabrics that will keep you warm even if they are wet. So synthetic fabrics, wool does a really good job, fleece does a really good job doing that too. Cotton is just wet and heavy and cold and uncomfortable, so we generally try to avoid cotton. Kind of another big thing to think about too is that you think of the clothing and the supplies that you are bringing are tools to help you in specific weather situations. We don't really think of clothes in the wilderness as outfits for each day. You don't have to bring 6 shirts because you're going to be here for 6 days. You want to think about the kind of shirts that will keep you warm when it's cold or keep you cool when it's warm, that kind of thing. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get all the stuff that you need. If there are things on this list that you don't have, thrift stores, number one. Borrowing stuff from friends and family is great. We here at Amicon also have a lot of stuff that we can lend out to people too. So if you're like, I have everything I need, I just don't have a sleeping bag, that's fine, we got you covered. And also, just don't worry about fashion. This week in the wilderness is a time to get away from fashion and brands and all that kind of stuff. And just get down to some of the nitty gritty of who we are. It doesn't matter what you look like out there, you're in the woods. Gear, Amicon provides all the gear you might need. So Amicon provides Duluth packs and stuff sacks and pack liners and all that kind of stuff. Your tents, your cooking equipment, your canoes, your life jackets, all of that. If you don't know what those things are, again, that's fine. You'll find out when you get here. You can bring your clothing and your sleeping bag in just whatever kind of container you have. And then when you get here, your guides will help you kind of repack everything into the right packs and bags so that it fits really beautifully in the canoes and is easy to carry around. If you happen to have your own camping gear that you really, really love, feel free to bring it. Just keep in mind though that your guides will give the final okay on whether or not that specific piece of gear is good to bring on this specific kind of trip or not. So your guides kind of have the final say about what's the best kind of gear to bring on site, and whether that's our gear, your gear, or whatever, but it doesn't hurt to bring it. So let's just go through the list then and go thing by thing here and give you a sense of what we mean by all these things and what kind of stuff we're looking for. So the first section on the packing list is called required items, and you notice it's actually pretty short because these things are absolutely essential. You do not actually get to go on the camping trip without these things. So first and foremost is your health form. That's the other document you get emailed to you when you sign up on our website. This does need to get signed by a doctor, and then also signed. If you're over 18, you can sign your own health form, or if you're not over 18, then your parent signs it or your guardian signs it for you. So just make sure that you're bringing a completed health form back to camp with you before you go. If you take any medications on a regular basis, make sure you bring those. Just a few notes about medications. If you are under the age of 18, we are going to have you give all of your meds to the guides, even over-the-counter medications or vitamins or stuff like that too. And then the guides will be giving them out according to the instructions on the packaging. Please do make sure that you bring enough medication for the whole trip. So for example, if you're going to be here 6 days and you take a certain pill at once each day, make sure you bring at least 6 of those pills. The next thing you absolutely have to have on this trip is a sleeping bag. You definitely want a sleeping bag. In fact, we won't let you go camping without a sleeping bag. A couple things to keep in mind about sleeping bags. Don't bring a cotton sleeping bag. Make sure it's synthetic. Some people ask about down sleeping bags, are usually kind of fancy, but probably not super necessary. Also, if down gets wet, it doesn't do a good job keeping you warm, so that's why we like synthetic. If you can get the kind that's the mummy style that has the hood that comes over your head and like cinches down around your face, that's really nice on cold nights. Sleeping bags must be rated to at least 35 degrees Fahrenheit is what we say. So what that means is that the sleeping bag will keep you warm even if it gets all the way down to 35 degrees at night. It's probably not going to get that cold on these trips because again, you're coming in summer, but it's never fun to be cold at night. So you always want to make sure that your sleeping bag is warmer than you actually need it to be. And next up is rain gear. So you need to bring both a rain jacket and a pair of rain pants. Jackets should have hoods. And something to keep in mind is just about what kind of rain gear is going to work best for you. If you think about what it might be like when it's raining, it's probably going to be a little bit cold. And if it's raining during the day, you are absolutely, definitely 100% going to be wearing a personal flotation device, a life jacket while you're paddling in the canoe. So you want a rain jacket that could fit over a life jacket and over, maybe a warm wool sweater that's keeping you warm. So rain jackets that are super cute and snug and trim don't actually work super well for wilderness adventure trips like this. Try to find a rain jacket that's maybe a size or two too big for you. Rain pants are super important too, and that's another one of those things that people don't necessarily always have. So we do have a lot of rain jackets and pants here at camp that you can borrow if you don't have both of those things for yourself. Otherwise, yeah, again, thrift stores or farm, friends and family works great. So rain gear, super essential. And then shoes. We have a fun rule here at Camp Amicon. We like to say, wear your shoes all the time, wear your shoes. So yes, you have to bring at least one pair of shoes just to keep your feet safe. That pair of shoes that you bring is guaranteed to get wet because you're going on a canoeing trip, and we enforce what's called a wet foot policy, which means that we only load and unload our canoes while they're floating in the water. So you have to walk through the water to get to your canoe. So your shoes are going to get wet every single day. So it's usually a good idea then to bring a pair of shoes that you designate as like, these are my wet shoes. And then also bring a second pair of shoes that you're gonna keep dry, and you're gonna keep those in your pack. And those are to make sure you get warm feet again at the end of the day when you get back to your campsite. It's just nice to have warm, dry feet. It makes a big difference. So 2 pairs of shoes. Things to keep in mind about all the shoes you bring. All the shoes you bring have to attach securely to your feet, so they've got to have some kind of back on them. Don't bring flip-flops. If your trip has white water, so if you're going on the Flambeau River or the Brule River or the Cloquet River, then your wet shoes also have to have closed toes. Shoes that work great. Sport sandals work great, so Keen brand sandals work great. They've got the closed toed, so they work really well for whitewater wet shoes. Chacos are super supportive, super comfortable. They stay on your feet super well. So those work really well as wet shoes if your trip does not have any white water, or they work really well as dry shoes on any trip. Super cheap sneakers work really well. Hiking boots are okay for dry shoes. They do not work very well for wet shoes. They're just too bulky and just not comfortable. Also, Croc brand shoes. They've got the closed toed and they've got the little loop that goes behind their heel. So people think they would work well for whitewater wet shoes, but they don't. They fall off your feet super easily and then they float away down the river. So don't bring Crocs as your whitewater wet shoes. Crocs are great. They're super comfy for dry shoes. So those are all the required items. Next up, the stuff we call highly recommended. And again, thinking about clothes in terms of like tools used for various weather conditions. So you always want to bring 2 of things. In case you get completely soaked and you're freezing cold, you want to make sure you have at least one dry outfit to change into, and then hopefully your wet outfit can dry before your dry outfit gets soaked. So you probably want to bring kind of 2 base layers, either a t-shirt or a tank top or something like that. It's also a good idea to bring one kind of long sleeve shirt that could work either as a light warm layer or as a sun layer. So like a lightweight long sleeve button down shirt works really well. You're going to want to bring one really warm sweater with you, not a cotton sweatshirt, but a warm bulky wool sweater or a thick fleece sweater. We have a lot of sweaters at camp you can borrow while you're here, and as you can tell, they are so cool. So take a look at those. You're going to want to bring 2 pairs of pants. Pants are great on a wilderness trip. Just one for the sun protection, for the wind protection. You're going to be walking through the forest at some point too, so just protection from the sticks and the thorns and everything else like that. Some people prefer to wear shorts, and that's fine too. Wear sunscreen. So that's on the list there too. Again, jeans don't work great because they're made out of cotton. You want synthetic pants because they will dry more quickly. So this is kind of what camping pants tend to look like. Quick dry camping pants is what we call these. If you don't have this kind of pant, that's fine. Yoga pants work super well. Athletic pants work well as long as they don't have like a cotton lining or anything in them. Even like cotton poly blends can still keep you cold while you're wet and take a long time to dry. So totally synthetic is great. You're gonna want to bring 2 pairs of wool socks. It's just so nice to have warm, dry feet at the end of the day. I even keep a pair of wool socks inside my sleeping bag, and they never come out of my sleeping bag because then I always know at the end of the day, when I'm curling up into my sleeping bag, I'm going to have warm feet, and it's going to make such a big difference. So again, wool socks, just because even if they do happen to get wet, they'll still keep you warm. You're gonna want to bring a brimmed hat for the sun. Baseball caps work fine. Just it keeps the sun out of your eyes, prevents headaches, prevents sunburn. It's great. I love this kind of hat that has a wide brim all the way around. It just protects the back of my neck and just feels a little more cool. You're also going to want to bring a warm stocking hat in case the evenings get cold and just to help you sleep better at night too. I like this winter hat for my trail hat because it comes down over my eyes and I can make it cover up the tip of my nose, and I just feel like I sleep better if my eyes are covered and my nose is covered because that's the part of me that gets cold because I have a pointy nose. But that's just me. You're also going to need a water bottle. Hydration is important. We recommend one that is at least 32 ounces and one that has a screw-on type lid, like an Nalgene style water bottle works really, really, really well. Because you want to make sure that the part of the water bottle that touches your lips, that actually like goes into your body, is protected and safe and kept clean. Disposable water bottles, like the super thin 16-ounce ones, like that's not what we're talking about. That won't work. If you don't have an Nalgene, we have so many. Sometimes the Camelback style water bottles that have the mouthpiece that sticks out, those don't work quite as well because if you accidentally like drop it into the river, then you want to make sure you can sanitize that entire piece before you drink out of it again. So that's where the screw on top, like the Nalgene style, works really well. A headlamp or a flashlight can be really nice. Headlamps are great because then you can see where you're going and you don't have to carry anything, so your hands can be free, which is good. But flashlights work just as well too. And then some other things that some people like to bring. It's kind of a personal preference. Do you think you want this or not? You know, it's up to you. So shorts are great. Again, pants just offer more protection from the wilderness, but shorts are comfy and it's summer, so you know, it doesn't hurt to bring shorts. They don't take that much room. A swimsuit. Usually what I wear when I'm swimming on a camping trip like this is just the clothes I'm usually wearing, because if it's warm enough that I'm going to want to go swimming, I'm going to want to go swimming right now. So it's just one of those things that I don't personally bring on my camping trips, but again, swimsuits are small and they dry quickly and it doesn't hurt to bring one. Some people like to have kind of a small day pack or a fanny pack. Again, small is good. So like one of those drawstring small backpacks, they work really well. Fanny packs work great. Something around that size is good. I use a small backpack like that when I go camping. I like to keep my own personal sunscreen in there. We have so much sunscreen to pass around and share and everything, but if you have a particular brand you like to use and you want to keep a bottle just for yourself, it's nice to have that ready and available all the time. I also like to keep my rain gear in my little backpack so that if it does start raining, it's right there and I don't have to go digging through my bigger full pack to try to find it. I also put my water bottle in my backpack and my journal and whatever else I'm going to bring along on the trip. Just kind of my personal things I always want to have handy. My camera. If you want to bring a camping towel, that's fine. When we're talking about camping towels, we don't want to bring a terry cloth, like a full-size beach towel, but the foamy style, the small style, just to dry off after you go swimming is fine. I usually don't bring one myself. I usually just dry off with a bandana or whatever dry t-shirt I have, or I just air dry. That's fine, but it doesn't hurt. Sleeping pads can be a nice way to get better sleep at night and stay more comfortable. If you're going to bring a sleeping pad, we recommend some kind that can pack down small, but that's just one more way to get better sleep, to stay warmer at night. Sunglasses can be great. If you're going to bring sunglasses, I'd recommend bringing a strap that goes around the back of your head, so if they fall off, you don't just lose them to the river right away or lose them to the lake right away. If you want to bring a card game or a journal or a book to read or something like that, that can be kind of fun, especially if it's a community kind of thing. Like cards are a lot of fun to bring along. Definitely make sure you wrap it in plastic so it doesn't get destroyed. You are welcome to bring cameras. That's pretty much the only kind of electronics we allow on our trips, because cameras are just important for preserving memories. You can't bring your phone as your camera. Amnicon in general does not allow really any electronics on our camping trips. We have tried it and it just takes away from the whole experience. Like the whole point of why we're coming on a camping trip is to intentionally spend time together as a community, and electronics here are just too distracting and just pull us back to that space. So we really want to create an intentional space this week without electronics. So at the beginning of the week, the guides are going to be collecting all the phones, collecting all the watches, all that kind of stuff. So when we say camera, we mean like the small, cheap digital kind, or they make waterproof disposable cameras, which could be super fun, and you get to get your pictures back later. That can be cool. Or if you have a GoPro and you want to bring it, something that can like handle the wilderness, like that's fine too. Just make sure that you do what you can to protect it, and if it gets wet or muddy or something, you're not going to be completely heartbroken by that. So that's kind of everything. Of course, if you have more questions or thoughts or concerns or ideas, we would love to be in touch with you. You can email us by reaching out to info@amnicon.org, or you can call us at 715-364-2602, and we will be happy to answer any questions you have about what to bring on your trips or what to expect or anything else like that. Can't wait to see you.